everybody. Welcome to Creature Corner, the corner with all your creatures. I'm your host, Jared Krichevsky, and with me, joining me now, is my best buddy, Matt Millard. Say hi to Matt Millard.
What's going on, man?
The greatest creature greeting of all, the shrill scream of doom.
The pig squeal of faith and honor.
That's right. So today, I thought it'd be fun to do something.
Yeah.
A little different. Well, not different, but last week we had an astounding guest in Jared Morantz. And,
oh yeah.
And I don't know about you, but talking to Jared always fires me up.
Oh, dude. I mean, it was awesome, man.
He is, just an absolute legend and a gentleman.
Yeah, he's a monster, and he's hilarious.
He's very funny. That's kind of one thing that I guess I would tell people about concept designers is they're all hilarious.
Yeah, you have to be. You've got to be weird and silly.
Yeah, you've got to be a little secluded.
You've got
to be a little weird, and a good sense of humor helps because when you're, under the stress of the job sometimes or clients, various things you get in your head about stuff. Having a good sense of humor is key to keeping you from going crazy. And you'll go crazy anyway, but this is like a nice crazy.
Yeah, it's the natural evolution of this line of work is that you will become just a tidgeon insane.
Yes, you will become a little mad, a little insane.
We all go a little mad.
We all go a little mad. So this week, we're going to take a break from our regular things that we've been working on. Matt, you've been working on your Cthulhu sculpt, and then I was working on my subterranean creature. I've now got him in Substance Painter.
Oh, cool.
And I'm getting those chops going. But I figured instead of showing people me struggling in another program, I thought it would be fun to break it up and do some fan art this week. So I did a poll on the Twitties.
Yeah, what was the
winner of our poll? Let me pull this up here. Pull it up. The winner was Goliath from GARGOYLE.
Oh, sweet.
And that was with 134 votes. So he won 41% of the vote. Coming in pretty close, which was shocking, was Real Monsters.
Yeah. Well, you've already been there, too.
I've been there, and so it's a comfort zone. But I thought, I'd throw it in there because there's so many that I'd love to do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that Ben Grimm did not do well. No love for the Thing. Poor guy.
People are like, no, don't want it.
They're like, no, I don't want it. I don't want that. So Gargoyles it is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys kind of the process, how I got started here, which is really not even getting started. It's just a quick, block in. So the block in comes from my mannequin set that I've created. And I use this guy for everything. And he's basically broken up into body parts. He's our own ZBrush customizable action figure. And so that's all I've started with. And, this guy took time to build.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it keeps on giving because I'm really pleased with the results of this test, and I keep adding to it. So that tells me that it's worthwhile to keep, working on.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's a killer tool to have.
It is. It's been really valuable. And so I've got a male one and a female one. So if I ever do a Demona, I'll use that one.
That's what we like.
Hell yeah. And then, so that's that. That's pretty much where I got this from. I have some wings in here. Wings. Some big old
Wings. Dude, nice.
You know, I've built any kind of creature bodies over the years, so saving them out and having a nice backup. So I have this dragon base that I built because at one point I was doing a lot of dragons.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, it's the same kind of principle, which is like head, torso, pelvis.
Yeah, just some basic forms to get you like in a serious spot to start.
You know, and then you can split off the head and do head versions and details that way. So it's like it's just a nice way to keep, you know, to keep a flow going. If you got to, I might even steal these feet for Goliath. I don't know. So that's what the wings were. That's how I built them. The wings were built like I think out of Z spheres, and then just some like, you know, very low res geometry for the webs. So that's that. That's just kind of the assembling part. So the first part of any like concept task that I get, it's assembling. You know, assembling things that I've already got built. So next is referencing, right? Key in any part.
Gotta have it.
So I loved the cartoon growing up.
Oh yeah, man.
It was like the like I would rush home from school to make sure I caught it because it was like at 3:30 or 4 or something like that, and they had like you had like Batman the animated series and then like Gargoyles, and so Gargoyles was the bomb, and Goliath being the hero, the leader of the Gargoyles, and so throwing in some references. One is the NECA sculpt. I need to pick this guy up at some point.
I know, man.
So good. And then just throwing in some other ones. I threw in Ryan Lang's concept. I don't know if you ever saw Ryan.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, dude, he did a series of these, and you know Ryan can just paint.
Yeah.
Ryan has the juice. So I for like tone and mood, you can't beat this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then throwing in some additional fan arts, just seeing kind of like what's been done already as far as Goliath.
Yeah, that's always important too. Like to look at, you don't want to, reproduce something like so close to some fan art. Kind of tells you like what direction. Like, oh well, I like this from this, and that's like hyper real with some kind of like human, like very very human elements in the face.
It's very very human. And so somewhere kind of like in this zone. And I like this piece just because it's got great, it's just got a great mood to it. So that's that. And then coming over to the body reference, the King Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah.
Because dude had like amazing proportions in his heyday.
Dude was insane.
Even now, as an elder statesman, he's in fantastic, better shape than I am at 40. And so looking at him and Conan, the bodybuilding, he's really young here. Other proportional things. It always strikes me that like the upper shelf of his body is so massive and like his legs feel like tiny by comparison. But like you look at that thing, I mean, look at that. That is top heavy.
Gosh.
Look at the proportions on that. It's just it's cartoonish. So that works perfectly for a cartoon. And then of course we threw in Kylo Ren and his like wide body.
Yeah.
Because there is something about that wide body that kind of works for translating that over, I think, to Goliath. And
everybody knows that you've got to have shirtless Kylo Ren.
You got to have shirtless Kylo Ren. I put it in my reference whether I'm sculpting something like this or not. Just to have Kylo Ren shirtless.
Just get your mind right,
Yeah, like it puts you in a space for work. And and then Jason Momoa, the other Conan.
Yeah, that dude is huge.
He also is huge here. There's something about like dudes with like long pecs, like their pec is like literally like a good third of their torso mass.
Yeah.
Right there. So throwing in some Jason Momoa, he's also got some good mood in here, and I might throw some like more reference of him for
some of that attitude.
Yeah, because he's got attitude, and that's another important thing to reference. Is not just like it's not just like physical things, but like soul, like the character in there. Like he's a warrior, and that's also something I want to translate. And then more Conan, more Schwartzy, and then for like a visual effects reference. To kind of ground the whole thing, like as kind of a reaching point. I threw in Thanos.
Yeah.
And Thanos, of course, like design execution is about as perfect as you can get for what I call a character creature.
Yeah.
Because he's what, like 11 foot, 10 foot tall Titan. But he's got character, he's got soul, he's got personality. There's so much mood and the
execution's incredible.
It was impeccable, and still till this day, like I think besides him and like Smart Hulk, have had are like some of the best CG character creatures to date. Because the subtlety required in the animation and the emotion. So, and then I threw this one in there because it's just like it's just crazy. And then for a little humor, you got to have him eating his peas.
You got to have him eating his peas, man.
Titans got to eat, and if they're not healthy, you got to be careful. So that's the reference collecting that I've done so far. Matt, you are starting a character as well.
Yeah, I just started from a sphere about 20 minutes ago here. I'm doing where are we at? Yeah, I want to do a beholder from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Just a classic ball with some tentacles and a bunch of eyeballs and even more teeth.
What is it about the eyeball ball that is so appealing? Why is it so appealing?
Look at that. He wants it.
Look at that.
He wants to be there.
He wants to be. He wants to murder you in the maze, the labyrinth.
Yeah, I kind of like the soft
appeal
of some of these. I really like the kind of sectioned, scaly, crustacean kind of feel. And then you have the more kind of like horror, you've got flesh kind of dripping off. It's bumpy, really, really tiny eyes,
Are you a fan of the tiny eyes? I like big.
No, yeah, I like this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that nice fat nasty.
Fat nasty. Fat nasty. I also like it when the eye is kind of like the biggest chunk of the body as well.
Oh yeah.
Do you think? Let me arrange us here. Do you think Mike Wazowski was?
I think Mike Wazowski was, based on my dad.
Your dad,
who was a beholder.
Your dad was a beholder.
Yeah, it runs in the family. I did well. Apparently, it ended with me. I never really made it.
They say it skips a generation.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious thing would be a Cyclops, but honestly, thinking of the guys that made that and that designed it, it is absolutely 100% possible, and probably even more probable.
It's probably probable.
Probably probable.
I mean, I love Mike Wazowski as far as like the Monsters Inc. go.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to see where they got their reference from, but I bet it was a beholder.
Yeah, either that or they drew like 1,400 shapes with a giant eyeball, and they were like, I like this one the most.
It's probably true. Yeah. So exciting things happening in the world.
Let's talk about it.
Of movies. You saw.
We're gonna start with it. We're gonna start with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't
Is
seen
that what
it
we're
yet.
doing?
I haven't seen it yet, but I would like to know what you thought, because you saw it, right?
I did. I watched it. I will say that I did see that movie. No, man. I think that. So here's my hot take. Did you see the remake of Chucky?
I did.
Okay. So hey man, cut that out. Get out of there. My dog is being adventurous.
Our other guest.
Our humans.
Our other guest.
My human child.
Player.
Bless you, buddy. So the remake of Chucky, if it wouldn't have been associated with Chucky, I think it would have been like 100 times more successful, because it was like a killer movie. But the idea that you're going in like expect, as a fan of Chucky or knowing what it was in the past, you're like confused and you have things to compare it to, and it's different, right?
Yeah, when you change up a canon like that.
Yeah. So Texas Chainsaw, I feel the same way. The fact that they were tying it in to the franchise and how poorly they did that hurt the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, they revived themselves with the series, though. I've heard the series is great.
Oh, Chucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. What is it on?
I want to say Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the remake of, or this iteration of Texas Chainsaw, they broke some cardinal rules right off the top. You see the guy's face, and some of the story is just it's just really not, and that's number one.
That's been a no-no.
Yeah, like you gotta know that by now.
You can't. Anytime you do a remake of a really beloved property like that, it gets dicey, because you have fans that grew up loving that property, are very attached to it, and will shred you to death with every fiber of their hatred if you.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like whenever you change the design of something so infamous and so successful, I mean, you're in bad water at that point, right? You're in like bad territory. Like whenever they remade Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street and like completely redesigned Freddy Krueger to look a little more, whatever, accurate. It like completely, it was like, dude, just make this a different guy, in the first place, like don't, like do something else with it, and I definitely was not a huge fan of the direction they went with, his overall design. The gore, the kills, they were great, man, but it literally for me, it didn't matter. It was just
they already broke the rules.
Yeah, it was just like, man, just be a different,
whatever they set up
movie,
yeah, doesn't work.
But yeah, a lot of gnarliness in there, but nothing really to write home about. I mean, and they really tried to pull the Halloween reboot energies in this movie, man, with the ending, and it was cringy for sure.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, it's still fresh, so I don't want to spoil too many spoilers.
Yeah.
Like what they do, it's just like, man, come on.
The Halloween reboot was pretty great. I haven't seen the sequel yet.
Yeah, the most recent one that came out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I saw. Yeah, I saw both of them. I don't remember really being crazy about either of them.
That's right. You didn't like. I liked the I liked the reboot, or it wasn't really a reboot, but a re-sequel or
it negated every movie except for the first one, basically.
yeah, because they call that out. Oh, that was that's just a myth, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And you don't like it when they retcon.
I don't mind, but it's at this point, you know, you might as well call it like some sort of Marvel alternate universe. It's like everyone's 85 years old. It's like, okay, so why are we watching?
Yeah,
Why is this movie being made? Like, it's like it's like Metallica putting out new music. It's like, dude, you guys were killer back then, but now you're like, it's not like 85, dude.
It's not working.
Like,
it's not working. Yeah, they brought back the hero from the first movie, right? And she's older now, and it literally feels like a copy pasta of Halloween.
Just kind of seems like a cash grab.
Yeah, it's just a cash grab.
Like a cash grab.
Come on, cash grab. Yeah, so that one felt weird to me. Like I don't know.
I really liked Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, and that's a lot of that's a point of controversy among horror fans. Really, some people can't stand it, and other people are like, "Oh, it was great."
Yeah, I'm in the first category.
You didn't like it at all?
No, and Rob Zombie has he's very stylish. It's almost Grindhouse, which I kind of like just straightforward storytelling. I don't know. So I wasn't a huge fan of the zombie Halloween movies.
Well, that's okay.
That's okay. So sometimes I think zombie hits it right on the mark, and then other times I'm like, that is what it is. There was a comment here. Is learning at home killing your personality? So it's like working at home, being at home all day. Does that kill your personality? Absolutely not. I think, and that's just because you just go crazy. And so when you go crazy, I think that just gives you some extra marks on your personality.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it kills your personality. The only thing I would say is that a lot of people spend a lot of time learning at home by themselves, but it is incredibly important to have colleagues and people that to critique your work or help you solve a problem. That's the first thing they teach you in Nomen is like you will be working with these people for the rest of your lives, and it's important to ask for help, ask for guidance. Don't rely on them, but we are all resources, and it's not a competition, right?
I agree. Yeah, and I mean, you should absolutely learn to, I think, work in a studio, work with people first.
Oh yeah.
Before getting to that stage where you can like work by yourself. You and I, we worked together for years.
Yeah.
I worked together with Marantz, for a couple years. What's up, Bobby?
What up?
What up? So like, I've been in the studio situation. I've worked remote. I've worked in studios. I love working in studio. And so I always recommend it if you can. Now,
it's so fun. Yeah.
This was also pre-COVID times, so it's a little different. If you have the option to work from home or in a studio, obviously if everyone's vaccinated or something like that. But I say work with people when you can. Like if you're just starting out, especially, your skill level will skyrocket as you start getting better. As you start like working with people, like being surrounded with by artists who are better than you, man, that does so much for you.
100%. And the thing that thing that I really learned is no matter how long, how do you phrase it? Listen to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Especially people that have been in the industry longer than you, even if they don't know how to use your software, even if they don't know the exact technical language. Like some of these people have, you know, been in the movie industry since shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you work with guys that, you know, worked on Jurassic Park and Star Wars and Titanic and you know, all of these movies, and their experience is, I mean, it's you know, it's timeless. It's like it's very invaluable.
Even though they may not understand the software, they understand the art.
Yeah, and
in some ways that's
yeah, they have
just as
ways of
valuable.
being like, well, you know, on set we would put a kicker light right here and then put out like a black screen to kill off the bounce, you know, stuff like that. And then in lighting, you're like, oh, well, I can replicate that fairly easily.
Like, I get what you're saying. We get this question a lot: is Blender or Maya? What should I use? I say, when you're just starting out, try Blender. I mean, it's free.
Yeah, it's free, right?
Yeah, it's totally free. It's a great program. There's lots of resources, good community around it. I myself, I like to pick it up every so often, just to like remind myself that I do not know how to use it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. All my hotkey nonsense will not leave me. It's just ingrained in there forever.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So Blender does have some like, it is quirky. It does operate a little bit different.
Yeah, but ultimately, like once you learn, you know, the principle of anything in 3D, you can find that button or find a way to do it in other 3D software 90% of the time.
The translation between softwares, that hurdle, I think is slowly going away.
Yeah.
Especially as like users demand like being able to jump back and forth between programs.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's also something that happens in production is you're jumping back and forth. ILM, for example, is render neutral. So they don't have like one package that's like, this is our package.
Yeah, everything goes through Katana.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've always, I mean, when I was there, which, you know, that was 10 years ago, they were using V-Ray a lot, you know, and they didn't care. They said, you know, if a scene looks better in a different package, we're just doing that.
Oh yeah. Like what I'm saying is like they use Katana as a hub. You can upload like any render. It's like this giant network. They're like, hey, if you're lighting in Houdini or if you're rendering in V-Ray, everything goes into Katana for assembly. It's really insane.
I mean, plus you have a massive farm. Working for you there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can do whatever you want and just
power it all done.
Power that boy through. Yeah, buddy. Let's see what else is happening is the VES Awards, Visual Effects Society Awards were announced.
Yeah, fill me in on that.
I'm going to fill you in.
My pleasure.
I'm going to fill you in. Omniverse is like that. Is like Katana, but for games. That's interesting. I don't know what that is.
Say, oh wait, Omniverse, is that the NVIDIA thing, or am I completely losing my mind?
It might be a thing. I don't know. Yes, the VES Awards, which is the Visual Effects Society Awards.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
Let me tell you all about it. All right, so outstanding visual effects in a photoreal feature So this was kind of like the big category of stuff. And they were Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong, Matrix Resurrections, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
And definitely not Godzilla versus Kong.
Definitely. No, that's in there.
Oh, is it in there? Did you already say that?
Yeah, that's in there. They got some nods for like outstanding simulations.
Oh, cool.
Because and we were on that talk with Adam Hartel. So if you guys are curious and you want to see it, that episode is available on the Noman channel. But they actually, we were talking about the making of Godzilla vs. Kong, and girl, you'll have to excuse me. I'm blanking on the name. I think it was Marcella.
Tim Talley.
Tim Talley. But she was talking about like the massive amounts of gigs they were using to simulate.
Marcella. Or
Marcella
Brown.
I think it was Marcella. Yeah. The massive amounts of gigs they were using for those simulations, because those had to be at scale.
Yeah.
Huge simulations of smoke and dust and fire and all that stuff. And so.
Yeah, wet fur.
Yeah. I mean, Kong is just all fur. And it's just amazing to me that stuff can be, just done fairly easily now.
It's pretty wild, man.
But I don't know what you think was the best one. I mean, like Dune looked pretty amazing overall. I mean,
what were the options again?
It's Dune, Godzilla, Matrix, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man.
Oh, the most recent Spider-Man, huh?
Yeah, the most recent Spider-Man.
Okay. Well,
and I don't know.
The most recent Spider-Man had some really serious post-production work in it, for sure. I mean, Dune altogether is just a gorgeous film. Like,
yeah.
Down to the color grading and the cinematography, it's all incredible. I mean, Godzilla was basically just a VFX showcase. You know
it
what
really
I mean?
Was.
But it's also like, how do you compare those two different worlds where you're seeing like just hundreds of thousands of frames in CG, like such a CG heavy movie, compared to a movie like Dune that's shot like heavily live action and then heavily post-processed with a bunch of CG, and it looks incredibly believable.
Yeah, I think the bar is always like blending people and blending real people into those environments.
Mm-hmm.
The big kind of like breakthrough on that was they were using sand screens instead of
I saw that
green screens, which is just such a simple thing, but it was so. I mean, you feel like you're on Arrakis.
Yeah, it was awesome. Gorgeous.
Josh Herman's in the chat.
What up, Josh?
He thinks Dune will win it, but Spidey should win. I'm curious to think what you think was the visual effect that should win.
I mean, just all the de-aging, all of the compositing, mean, dude, in nearly anything Spider-Man does is going to be assisted with CG, like to the point to where you just can't really tell in some shots. It's insane.
True. With Spider-Man, I think maybe Sandman as well, because you had Sandman, you had Lizard and Doc Ock all together. Maybe some of putting Alfred Molina in his Doc Ock suit. So I don't know I don't know what specifically like they're referencing like the breakthroughs were, but I mean it looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I want to watch it again. I can't wait to see it again.
I am really excited. I got my kid who's like 3.5, almost 4. He sat through that whole movie, and that's like nearly a 3-hour movie.
That's insane, dude.
To get like a little kid, and you know he's young, and so his attention span is about 3 too. He sat through that whole movie, and then he recounted the plot to us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's like, remember when they took the box from Doctor Strange? And we're like, whoa,
Dude,
he really picked up on details.
Yeah, he's gonna grow up and be just like you, dude.
Oh my god,
that's how I was. Like,
I know.
Oh my god.
And he likes Doctor Strange because he makes magic circles.
That's awesome.
Which is rad. Let's see. Yeah, Dune was just clean. Which is very, very clean. Overall. Like it just looked beautiful. It felt beautiful. Everything felt cohesive. Nothing felt like, I don't think there was a moment in Dune where, like, just looking specifically at visual effects, where I was like, oh man, like they don't sit in the scene. That never happened.
Oh man, and the prosthetics and practical effects on Skarsgård were just insane.
Yeah, those were great.
Insane.
The
Baron was dope. The Baron was so dope.
Oh, he was awesome.
I loved it.
Cool.
Loved it.
Was there is there like a vehicle that like stood out to you that you love?
Oh yeah, dude. The Dragonfly.
Yeah.
The Dragonfly helicopter thing. I'm making up super scientific.
I think it was called the ornithopter.
Yeah, the orthopedic surgeon.
The orthopedic Dr. Scholl's.
Yeah, Dr. Converse.
Dr. Converse.
Dr. Converse and Dr. Pepper got together.
Dr. Pepper.
And they made
Dune. Dune was made by Dr. Pepper.
They made Dune. A lot of people don't know that.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, Frank Herbert moonlighted it at Dr. Scholl's. People don't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Then what else? I mean, Godzilla vs. Kong, it's just massive. The amount of smoke, and then you have. I think it looked gorgeous.
It absolutely looks gorgeous. It's the suspended belief of all of the monsters and stuff kind of just puts it in a different category, though, in my opinion.
Someone was pointing out the Hollow Earth looked fantastic as well.
Yeah, I liked how it was definitely fantastical for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely pushed.
Josh Herman, yes, it is a beholder. We're doing fan art today.
Yes, we're doing fan art today.
So
Josh has got, he's doing the beholder.
I'm gonna print this thing out. Oh, speaking of prints.
What
time is it? 10:40.
We can talk about it if you want. You're excited. I can tell.
About it. I want to show you guys.
All right, hold up. We're gonna make you big.
Make him grow.
We're gonna make my monster grow.
Okay, yeah. So
real quick.
Yeah, check out this. Earthquake. Just kidding.
Oh.
All right, so this is about as big as we got.
Wow, and that's on your P.O. Poly, so you could. Wow.
Look at that.
Little mini boy.
Yeah, so this is the. I don't have an image up. Let me see. I got a gray render somewhere. I can put on my screen for reference here.
We'll admire your beard in the meantime.
There we go. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen. This Cthulhu sculpture that we've been working on, or that I've been working on. So I started printing it out, and I started very small just to make sure I could get it to print, right?
Always a good idea to do like a mini test.
Yeah, you start small, see if you can get your orientation right. Make sure that the printer is working, right? So then I stepped it up. I got, I don't know, it's probably about 4-inch print, and it's not really You can't really tell because it's not
Look at that
focusing.
guy.
But it was fun. It was fun. I parted it out. That was a big deal. Was parting out the legs and the wings here. And then I got this. I got a full blown one right here. Oh man, this is the one that I
two hands
posted.
for this.
It's the one that I posted recently.
Dude, that is the size of your skull.
It's pretty sick, right?
Holy cow! Show me the back. Show me that booty. Yes.
And it's all pieced to. It hasn't been glued together because I'm gonna paint it. But wait,
there's more.
There is more. Look at this motherfucker.
No, oh my god,
dude, it is massive.
No way.
Yeah. There's a big cut in that. I got to reprint the wings, but man, I mean, turned out like really, really
Holy
good.
moly.
So with the base, that'll be around 20 inches.
20 inches. Oh my god.
Yeah, that is awesome. It weighs like 5 pounds.
Oh my god.
Just solid resin.
Life size.
Yeah. Big boy.
That's the next one. So let's go back to our mode here. So in making that, why don't you tell me like how much resin you used for each one?
Okay. So let's just say the two sizes, the big one and the small one. I got the small one all on one build plate minus the rocks. The base is huge, and I have made it smaller like 3 times, made it thinner. The thing with the thing with printing time is that you can have a full bed just printing, but as tall as it is, that is how long it's going to take, right? So the wings, for example, they used half as much resin as the entire body, but they printed much longer because they're so long, and I had to orient them in such a way that they would work on the plate. Now, for this big guy, once again, I mean, this is literally like almost 3 liters of resin, dude.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's like 2.5. Like 2.5 big bottles of resin. Look at
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's
in each one of those resin bottles, that's like $50 a pop.
40. Yeah. And dude, whenever I get the butthole and whenever I get the rocks on it, it'll look awesome, right? But dude, I've been so pleased. It's been so fun. What are you doing?
And what was your slicing software? You were using
G2 box.
G2 box. Did you notice like anything different with G2 box and this? Like I mean, it's slicer software, so it's all kind of.
Man, G2, because we both have the Anycubic. We both started on the Anycubic.
Yeah, we both like that
printers. And it comes with its own slicing software, right? That was cool. G2 box is nice because it has Josh, yes, it is hollow. It's about 3 millimeters thick. I have it hollowed like pretty heavy right now, and in future prints I'll probably go a little lighter. Some of my, I've got what are called like holes or tears in my prints, and it's the surface volume is creating so much suction that the layer is having a hard time sticking to the plate or getting enough material to cure before the plate comes out of the vat. But G2 box is nice because you can just hollow the model in there, run it down, see if it's got any weird geo. You can do plug little holes in there, like drain holes. So it's pretty solid software. The auto supports are okay, and you can just go in there and
tweaking them.
Yeah.
like because you have to every time you scale that thing up again, you have to restructure, you have to re-add supports and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. It's I have the numbers written down, the exact scale values. So anytime I modify the model, I have to reslice it or rekey it or add a drain hole here or whatever it is. I just bring it back in, have to resize it, and then absolutely you have to do the supports. But it comes with the territory. It's like,
yeah, that's just the job. I mean,
it's you're really just printing things 100 times, trying to figure out like how I can set up a master file, and then ultimately I'll probably go back to the model and make sure everything's nice and tight, because now like printing things out in sections, there's always going to be issues. You're going to have to trim your keys or trim your holes that they insert into, or sand down a surface so that it fits nice and tight. And then after it's done fitting, you're going to have to patch the holes with resin and then cure that to get, because it's not a seamless thing, right?
no, I mean, there's always some like post work that you have to do on top of it all.
Yeah. And whenever, ultimately the goal is to get a really nice master file and then learn how to, mold it and then cast it, get a bunch of, I got a list going of a bunch of airbrush software or airbrush hardware.
Airbrush hardware.
Yeah, we're going back to MS Paint on this one. Everybody knows that's a huge favorite.
Huge favorite here at Creature Corner.
But yeah, it's been really, really fun. And
Man,
dude, just seeing the large format, dude, it's like honestly breathtaking. Like how big that thing is it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
I got very jealous, and I want one.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's probably the goal this year, is to get a nice Piopoly.
Yeah, Piopoly.
I mean,
I had to rack my brain for a second. Is that
like,
how you
what
say it?
word are you using at me?
But yeah, dude, it's been really fun. And with the failed prints, that'll give me enough revenue to do a bunch of test painting on and get the technique down, because I'd like to reproduce and sell some cool statues and just make some kick-ass sculptures.
Well, like I told you, man, when you're ready to start selling those, I want one.
Hell yeah. Would you want one personally? Like, would you want one like painted or just gray or black or?
I would want one. I would want one that I could paint.
Yeah, because that's a big market. Like,
yeah,
print off a cool model and have the hobbyists like paint it. What I mean?
Totally. And I would want to paint it, but also like I wouldn't mind getting one that's painted too.
Of course.
It's like, but for me, it's always finding time to do said things that I'm going to do.
And plus there is just something like impressive just about just kind of a gray sculpture. I mean, we're used to seeing that in so many different mediums.
I do love. There's something really nice about a great resin printer like that. Or just like a nice resin print.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's gray. My Serpentina has some transparent for the goo.
Oh yeah.
That stringy goo. But the print was just too, it was too complicated, so I never sold it. It's just too much of a pain in the butt to put together.
Josh Herman, he's talking about, yeah, dude, I actually started that Cthulhu model in Forger on my iPad with a sphere.
Yeah. Forger's great. Forger or Nomad.
I used both of. I used Nomad first, I think, and then Forger has like some really, like cool kind of viewport real time, like GTX kind of shaders and stuff. It's really cool, man.
Really nice.
You know, obviously we talked about it before, that the hardest thing is just getting used to the two hand thing is so difficult for us
It's
because
so
we're just
weird to
used
me.
to alt and control and shift, but you gotta like kind of press down on one side and of the screen and stuff.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a translation issues that I run into where I'm like, I want to be able to use hotkeys, but I can't do that. But the question that he was answering, and thank you for answering in the chat, Josh. You know, you don't have to start with ZBrush to learn digital sculpting. And like my niece, for example, is using Blender to start her journey in digital sculpting. So like, as far as I'm concerned, like just start in something. The most affordable, you know, thing that you can get. Eventually, now if you want to get serious, I think you do need to eventually pick up ZBrush, just because it is a really intuitive workflow. And I guess that, although that depends on probably who you're talking to.
Yeah, and I mean, really, like you can learn sculpting. I mean, you need to learn, you know, traditional elements. At least being able to draw and sculpt with clay maybe is how I got into it. I never even thought you'd be able to do it on the computer by the time I was learning how to do it on the computer, you know. And
what's funny is my first experience, you know, I went to a liberal arts college, and so I had never sculpted prior to that. And so I learned by sculpting with ceramic clay.
Yeah.
And I sculpted some ceramic pieces, and that was my first like foray into sculpting when I realized like, oh, I kind of like this. You know, you smash some forms together and suddenly you've made something.
Yeah.
So I that was my first experience. So like, yeah, learning clay or learning, you know, hell, start with Play-Doh.
Yeah, man. I mean, whenever I was younger, I spent a lot of time with one of my buddies who was graduating from the local college here, and he was graduating in sculpture, and I would go whenever they were, you know, these guys are spending all hours of the day in the sculpture lab working on their finals. And I'd go in there and I would learn from him how to sculpt in, you know, like earthenware, just kind of wet clay and stuff like that. And it was really fun, man. It was really, really fun. Nothing quite like it. You know, that's what's so cool about the 3D printer is like you spend so
when you see it and you hold your baby,
it's insane.
For the first time, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane.
It really is. There's a, you know, because we've talked about it before, but there's kind of a disconnect in like working digitally, because you're not physically, you know, moving forms around. So suddenly when you hold it and you get to like, this is your baby, it's awesome. You're like, I made this. And what's really cool is that everything you do shows up. Every decision you make, it all shows up in there.
Yeah, and you learn from it, you know?
Yeah, you learn from it. You grow. Yeah, definitely holding a print too changes how you sculpt in 3D for sure.
Big time.
You know, like how to start pushing forms around. So yeah, I recommend, I mean, like anything you can do that gets you to start, you know, working and creating, you know. And
Shiflet Brothers sculpt with real clay and make incredible monsters. Have you seen their work before? Absolutely.
Oh, dude.
They are legends.
Yeah, they're kind of a huge deal.
They're kind of a big deal.
They're a big deal. One is they run the Shiflet Brothers Sculpting Forum on Facebook, which is a fantastic community that they've built. So they're you know, just through that, that's, you know, how a lot of people are getting to know them. But What I love about their work is the energy that's in there. There's like attitude and energy in their sculpts, all of them, and they're just awesome. So we love them.
Oh,
We
big
love them
time.
over here. And they're also really nice guys. So fully, yeah, check them out, buy their prints. I don't know. I would love to, talk to them beyond just like a quick hello at a convention kind of thing.
Right.
There are. The best part is like going to conventions and meeting traditional sculptors and alongside digital sculptors. Simon Lee, for example, is a master.
Oh my God, dude!
Dude is incredible.
It's just upsetting the level of. It's like, dude, I could never do. It's like one of those things. You're like, wow, that's incredible.
I took his class too, and
awesome.
And that took my, that really changed how I started working, because I saw how he was putting things together in clay, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do that process in digital, and that is essentially what led me to my mannequin that I started building, and now how I build everything. So cool. You learn amazing techniques in traditional that'll translate over. Gregor, what's up, man?
Almost, dude. It's a beholder from.
You're.
Yeah. Now it was honestly between that and a beholder, and I was like, well, beholder's got a bunch of tentacles. I'll throw that one in there.
Let's highlight Matt's. Hey, it's time for the check-in.
Is it time for a check-in?
I think it's time for a check-in.
Time for a check-in. Is it on? Oh, it's on me.
It's on you, Matt. It's all on you.
I'm doing I'm doing the old ball with an eye. Here, let's just go. Let's see. Can we go all the way back? There we go.
That's how you started.
And just go for it. Constantly looking at your reference, and then halfway through, you're making sure it doesn't just look like a weird ball on the side.
Yeah, because the profile of that is that's the hard part.
Right. So you're thinking kind of like get kind of some of this like skull-shaped anatomy, get your jaw stuff in there. Then you start to get a little creepy. Still always looking at reference. I got so many different versions of this beholder up on my other screen that I'm going to find probably my own language in between, like muscular and plated,
That's kind of the hard part, is like, which one do you do? Because the kind of bulbousy ones, and then there's the more like shelled, hard exterior ones.
Yeah, and the way that all of these tentacles either integrate or don't integrate, how they just come off of the body in fleshy mounds.
Do they come off just a pop, or is it a blend into the tentacle eye?
Yeah, and I think what I thought about doing was making a tentacle, maybe for next time, whenever we stream, making a tentacle and then popping it on an IK rig in Maya and duplicating it around just to, after you sculpt like a nice high-res tentacle, and kind of showing that workflow.
You could use the bend curve for that too.
Yeah, I am awful with the deformers, and plus just having a bunch of joints where you can just wiggle it around and put it on a layer is how I usually work, anyways.
I'll do a proper demo for how to use the bend curve, because that was something that like floored Marantz too.
Yeah, that was cool seeing that. Okay, so how about next time?
Next time I'll do a proper.
I give you this ball and one tentacle, and you show me how to do the bend curve.
All right, I'm into it.
I like it.
Okay, that's a plan. I'll do I'll sit down. We'll have some lunch.
A couple of ham sammies, a little bit of Mountain Dew, Code Red.
Are you a Code Red guy, or I'm I'm a Baja Blast.
Oh, dude, it's Baja Blastoise all day,
Oh,
every day, baby.
Did you say Baja Blastoise?
Yeah, dude. Hey, excuse me for about 5 minutes. I gotta let my dog out.
He's gonna let his dog out.
BRB.
So we're gonna check in here with me.
Yeah, show us the goods. Oh, dude, that's looking great.
Yeah, he's coming along.
Oh, you got Batista up there. I love it.
Yeah, attitude, baby.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, Matt's gonna let his dog out, and while Matt disappears, we'll do a check-in on Goliath here. So obviously, Goliath has some pretty strong features. The thing that kind of pops out to me here is he's got what I'm looking at is this kind of swooping shape from his ear to his jawline here. So that's something I'm trying to recreate, but without going too far curved in. Somewhere kind of like a nice blend in there between the two. Somewhat subtle, but realistic. Get that in there. And then getting those horns in there. The big thing that'll really help is when I get the hair blocked in, because that'll help a lot. A question. I'm making a creature for my games portfolio. It's a huge fire snake / worm. Do you know what would be a decent poly count for a boss monster? That's a good question. That's so contingent, I feel like, on the engine, the game, and poly count. I don't know. I would probably do some like looking up of examples from other games that you admire, and maybe see if you can find a poly count that's somewhere in there. Like do some searching on ArtStation and find some similar looking game models that kind of have the look and poly count that you want, and match that. I think that's a specific poly count is probably something that they're going to ask about when you're on the job. Basically, is you'll figure that out in the into the job kind of life and situation. So I would match it with find a good example of what's been done, and kind of match it to that, and your recruiter is going to be able to they're going to be able to look at it and like say like, okay, sure, you know the software, how to do that. If you maybe set aside a poly budget and say like, I was trying to fit into this amount, your recruiter will know, like they understand the process. So I'm sure you can find it's more about like I would say demonstrating confidence in the process. Can you bake down a low poly character? Your recruiter's going to know. They're pretty smart, and things like that are so subjective from game to game. I feel like because different game companies are going to have different kind of methods and workflows. So let's see. Greg, hey man. Weird question. Did I convert my garage to a studio? Yes, I did. So we are in my garage. Let me begin that. There we go. So welcome to my garage. It's basically it was a hole. The only thing we did do is we added insulation and paneling, so I wouldn't freeze to death. Temperature control is from this guy up here. There we go. Hello. So it's set really hot because otherwise I would freeze to death in here. And then you can see my dogs. So we're all quite comfortable in here. Some days when it gets really hot, it can get a little burdensome, even though this air control unit is great. If it's really, really hot, then I'll be, patting ice on myself and whatnot. So It is manageable. The one thing that I did do is I painted the roof. I had the roof painted, which helped a lot because it was like just brown and just like brown darkness like sitting above me. So once I got it painted and now, we'll go back. Now that there's a little bit of bounce light in there, come back. There we go. Now that there's a little bit of bounce light in here, it's a lot brighter and it's less depressing. So it feels nice. And now it feels like I work in a barge, like some kind of ship. James, no, we didn't. We did not insulate the garage door, so that's the one thing that's not insulated. I would probably, eventually I'd like to just remove the garage door anyway because it doesn't work anymore now since I've kind of like sealed everything off. So eventually I'll get the garage door removed and just make it a proper studio. I'd love to do. I'd love to put in like maybe a sink at some point, just so I can work with like paint or other, bigger things like that. So that's the goal, at least. So making progress on. Yeah, it is cozy. It is nice in here. I live in here pretty much all day, every day. So it is. It has to be cozy. Your workspace is reflective of your state of mind. I feel like when you're working. So if you have like a messy workspace, your art is going to be a little bit messy. So I find having a cool workspace helps a lot. I do have a stereo set up in here. I don't use it mostly because I'm just on my computer all day, and I have a nice stereo for my computer. But back there, I do have a movie screen and a projector. We'll go back. So that I do have a projector right there, so I can watch movies like on a nice big screen in here. But that's it's cozy. When you live in I essentially live in here. So it's got to be a nice space. So I like surrounding myself with books and toys and posters and things to look at. Because every day is, a little monotonous. Just a little bit monotonous. So you just gotta make it nice. I kind of I subscribe to the Del Toro method of office decoration. Welcome back, Matt. You get your little boy to go pee pee?
Yeah, he took a little pee pee.
A little peer. I watched there's a video of an interview of Del Toro, and he does this. He gives a tour of his house, Bleak House, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, his house is incredible.
It's amazing, and
it's almost Giger level insane minus.
Yeah, it's like at that level.
Coaster. Yeah.
And his kind of working philosophy is that when you come to this house, every corner, every inch is decorated in inspiration for the artist. He also has a studio that artists will come and visit and work there at Bleak House with him. And so he's decorated it for them, basically, that when they come and visit, every inch of that place is decorated for them, to inspire them. And who would not kill to have an invitation to Bleak House? The one thing I'm doing with Goliath here that might be a little bit different is I'm going to go with the convex shape right here in the mouth, almost a little bit more beak-like.
Oh, okay.
You know, just so it doesn't look because in my reference here, which I'll slide over so we can see it in the screen. For my reference here, in some of the fan art that I pulled up before, this is a very human-looking Goliath. So since this has already been done, I'm deciding to go more of the opposite route, which is almost like more beak-like. Because he is,
it reads more gargoyle.
Yeah, because he's a creature. You know, he's a character. He's a creature, but also he needs to be emotive as well. Like he's got to be able to stand next to an actress. You know, playing what was the cop's name? Elisa.
Oh man,
I think it was
Elisa. At
all. So he's got to be able to stand next to her and at least like feel believable enough. So I'm just trying to make him look, trying to bake in some of that angry brow kind of look in there. And I'm also I'm borrowing a little bit of Hulk in there with the massive like front brow.
Looks great, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, that's looking great.
You know, I attempted I don't know if you remember this, but I attempted a Goliath a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, great. And I wasn't, you know, I don't think I was there as a sculptor yet to like have the guts to want to attempt Goliath. And now I feel like I'm at a better place where I'm like, okay, now I can do it. Now I can envision the right Goliath.
I can envision.
Vision. The man, the myth, Goliath. Goliath. Just like one of the coolest, like here, I think Goliath's like up there with like Optimus Prime, you know, as far as like heroic other.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
He really is.
What about small soldiers? That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. He's like the there's something about the leadership trope, like Optimus Prime or like Captain America, where they're like the good-hearted leader, the moralistic, you know, the moralistic core of the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one who's always going to say the right thing and do the right thing. That's Goliath, and that's why we love him. What do you think? Should they make a full movie?
Dude, of course. I mean, we're in the middle of rebooting everything in the world anyways. Why not do a franchise that people want to see?
Why? Yeah, I mean, like, Gargoyles was like the show for me for a while. It was like one of my favorites.
This dog is
What's he
getting wild.
doing?
He's just getting wild, man. He wants to get into everything.
A little wild guy like you.
You know, he is. He's a lot like his dad.
Oh, little buddy. Have we seen Mad God yet?
No,
Phil Tippett.
I have not.
I have not seen it yet.
I haven't been to any of the gosh, what do they call them? Having a brain fart.
Fan conventions or whatever.
Yeah, you know, the screenings. I can't remember if I'm having a brain fart. But I think it's supposed to be readily available pretty soon, right?
Right, it's got to be. I would like to. I mean, as soon as it's out on streaming, I will absolutely.
Oh, dude, of course.
The trailer just looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks just full blown crazy.
And Phil Tippett. I mean, dude is a legend.
Dude's a master.
So he is a master, and so of course, like I'm gonna watch it. There we go. So now he's getting some strength in his face, and I'm referencing a lot of Batista, because Batista has that like attitude,
That attitude.
Oh yeah, go put the kids down to bed. No, I know. I know how it is. I read a lot of Cat in the Hat. That is one thing that will happen when you have kids, is you will watch the same thing 100,000 times.
Greg is saying that he worked with Phil on RoboCop.
Oh, that's right.
That's incredible.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, Greg's got the
Gregor, you're gonna have
the
to
Doom stuff still gets me every time, dude. Like, I remember whenever we first started working together, he brought in the original Spider Mastermind molds from
Yes.
Doom, and I was like, man, I grew up playing these games. I have a Doom tattoo. This is the coolest thing ever.
Gregor, come on the show, man. Come hang out. We'd love to talk about all your experience. Gregor Punchaz, amazing artist, good friend, good guy.
Yeah, and he's hilarious too. So that's
that's like the through line.
Yeah, that's like 3 for 3.
Yeah, you got to have sense of humor is so important. That was one of my favorite things about working with Jared is Jared's really funny, and he would just make we would. My favorite part about just working with people is like when you're in the studio and your head is like ducked behind a computer, and you would just hear someone like pop off a comment.
Yeah,
everybody starts laughing.
Yeah, then like the whole department's just cracking up.
They're just cracking up.
And the other department across the way that didn't hear the joke, they're like mad that we're having fun.
Yeah. They're like, what's the designers? What are they doing again?
What could ever be so fun about work?
Don't you dare. But I mean, like, this job is silly anyway. You're making monsters, for God's sakes. Got to have fun.
Super important.
Super, super important. Right now, I'm kind of pegging Goliath around his, like, if he was human, he'd be like maybe early 50s, like mid to late 40s, early 50s. Mm-hmm.
But what is that in gargoyle years?
Oh, probably hundreds of years.
Nice.
Dude's been around. He's he's a seasoned warrior, and plus they just turn to stone.
And they just hang out.
They literally just they just get stoned and hang out.
Get stoned and hang out. That's what they do. And that's why you relate to them so much.
That's right. We are all gargoyles in this world.
We are farmers.
We are farmers. We're barn farmers.
We're Martel Darminsons. It doesn't have to make sense, okay, guys?
We can do whatever we want.
Okay.
What else? I think there was the Elden Ring launch trailer.
Oh my God. Dude, I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls with my friends, just falling in love with the From Software games, and we are so stoked.
I think everybody's ready.
We cannot wait. We cannot wait.
I'm a little hesitant, I'll admit, because that means I have to stop playing Bloodborne.
Yeah, well, you've been playing it for a long time.
It's the only game that I play, Matt.
And I know this about you, and that's partially why I love you so much.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah, it is one of the only strong reasons why we have a friendship.
It is. It's a part of my life. It's the only thing that I can do.
It's the only thing that I can do.
It's the only thing I can do. Let's. I'm gonna look in at yours. I like the teeth coming in.
Yeah, I blocked a teeth in there because you got to have at least a placeholder to. It's like doing a likeness. You just sculpt in the eyebrows and the beard and stuff just to get some.
Yeah, without it, he just looks like a gummy.
He looks like a grandma ball.
Like a grandma. Like, Arr!
He's a ball of grandma.
It's looking nice, dude. He looks. There's a. You know what I would say about your work is there's always like a mischievousness about your character. You know what I mean?
I'll take it, dude.
All your characters are just a little bit.
They're just they're trying to figure it out.
They're plotters. They
want to get into trouble
and planning. They're just a little bit devious.
I like it. That's fun. Yeah, I think I'll pop in some, because I'll pop in just some placeholder tentacles just to get a feel of how he's looking proportionally and how it's reading with just the whole idea. And I think next phase is really just exploring some ideas like, does he have a bunch of spikes? Does he have shells on him with separation, or is he fleshy? Is it heavy wrinkles? There's probably going to be some sort of marriage between all of them.
A little bit of spiky, a little bit of fleshy, a little bit of crab in there.
A little bit of crab, you gotta have a
little bit of crab.
Gotta have a solid crab involved. If you ever want to have a good time, there's got to be a little bit of crab.
It's important to throw the crab in there.
Crab
man. Crab people.
Oh man, I have been in love with crab people for a long time.
What do you think was the genesis of that? What was the love of your crab people?
Just you think about funny words, and crab will come along, and you're like,
about a funny word.
You're like, damn. I love lizard people, but what about crab people?
I've always been a fan of mole people.
Yeah, well, yeah, and see, mole people, that's like
it's not a funny word.
Yeah,
but it is very funny.
I'll give you that.
That like they are funny. Like if it's just like they're mole people.
So are they like really? Are they really like conscious of like their spending and stuff, or are they? Like, is that? I kind of feel like maybe they're hoarders.
Oh yeah,
maybe they're penny pinchers. You know what I mean? They're a little frugal.
Almost close to dwarves in that sense.
Right.
Like, because I mean, they're only coming up to the surface at night to grab things and go.
Yeah.
Gregor says he's a mushroom people kind of guy.
Oh, the fungal fun guys.
The fun guys.
The fungal fun guys. We like it.
I like mole people, but I also like lizard people.
Dude, lizard people are easily my favorite.
They're great.
I've got that beautiful lizard person tattoo on my leg.
That's right. I love it when you show that to people for the first time.
Oh, dude. I remember showing it to my parents, and they were just like, what the? And I got it basically as an adult. I was like 26 years old. My mom was like, what? My dad was like, well, all right. I was like, yeah. Anyways, this is the coolest tattoo.
But you know what? That's the best response that she could give you.
Mm-hmm. We like to have fun.
We like to have fun. We like to have fun here.
We like to have fun here at Creature Corner.
We like to talk about making monsters. I showed Jackie Malignant last night.
Oh.
She has not seen it yet. And so I got to see the raw kind of reaction to that movie,
Yeah,
and it was delightful.
that's amazing.
She's a tad more squeamish about that stuff than I am.
Oh, a tad more. What understatement of the year? I'm sure.
Yeah, I know.
Who is the least squeamish person I have ever known?
Me?
Yes.
No, I
Shut up. You take pride in it.
You're right, I do.
You're a psycho.
It's a good. Let's just say it's a good thing I decided to go to creatures.
Yeah, and again, you got to be a little crazy.
You have to be a little bit crazy. But I also have a very morbid sense of curiosity.
Yeah, kind of freaks me out.
It's a little.
It's a little alarming.
No, it's not that bad. No. There's a difference, though. There is a difference between seeing something on a computer or your phone, like distancing yourself from it that way.
Yeah.
Versus I've seen, if I see like a roadkill or something, I get like, ooh.
Oh yeah, like if you're driving down the street and you see roadkill. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That can kind of, that'll do it for me. But it's more about like, I feel bad for the animal. That's what keeps me from being a true psychopath, is I have empathy and emotions.
You have empathy and emotions.
I have emotion.
You missed the air quotes, but they were happening.
Oh, they were. Okay.
I'm doing it right now.
You just say air quote. I have air quote empathy and air quote. Question was, any tips on becoming a creature artist? Make lots of awesome creatures.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be in love with it.
You gotta be in love with it.
Do it. It's like anything else.
Yeah.
It's like anything else, man.
Yeah, it's definitely it's something you do because you're passionate about it. I would say if you want like tips on like how to become one, just become one. Just start doing it. Start drawing, start sculpting. If you're not already, right? Like if you're checking out the stream and you are brand new, fresh to creating art, welcome for one. But two, like just start it, even if it sucks. Especially if it sucks, just do it.
Yeah, and it will suck.
And it will suck, and it will suck for a long time. It takes a lot of time to get to a place where you start feeling good and confident. I went through, after No Man, it took me 2 years before I felt like I was producing work that I was confident with.
Yeah.
And I'm, 10, 12 years in, and I'm like now producing work where I'm like, damn, maybe okay, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, and there are still those jobs, like whenever you get the opportunity to work on those certain jobs, you're like, man, am I capable of you psych yourself out.
Absolutely.
And ultimately I relate it to two experiences, two long-term experiences that I've had. A lot of people, I'm a musician first before I was a CG artist, and I still play guitar to this day. And a lot of people would like ask me like, well, oh yeah, I want to play guitar. How do you do that? And all this stuff. And the answer is always the exact same. Like you practice, but you're not going to practice unless you really, 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 really want to learn how to play guitar. If you want to learn 4 chords and play a Nickelback song at a house party, you can do that in like a week. If you want to learn how to play the guitar, you've got to put in 10 hours a day every day for years of your life. And along the way, you will get exponentially better, and you're constantly trying to get better. It's important. not to plateau and important to always be learning, but it's just like that. You have to want to do it, you know, for sure.
What kind of funny is I studied piano in college. I not studied, but like I took classes. I took piano classes in college just because I needed something to fill out the curriculum. You know, it was a liberal arts college, and so I took a lot of different disciplines just to like find out what I liked,
what you wanted, yeah.
what I wanted, and I tried really hard to like get better at piano, and it just never clicked. Like it,
Yeah.
And I think just my passion was not there for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I took a sculpture class. Again, I just needed stuff to fill out my curriculum, and I ended up taking 3 more sculpture classes.
Yeah.
So that tells you everything you need to know.
It
like,
resonates with you.
yeah, it resonates with you. It finds your spark.
Yeah,
And,
the thing that you find yourself in your free time wanting to learn about and wanting to do.
Yeah.
That is what you know. You know,
That
like
is-
the first time that I sculpted in clay, it was like the next day I was going to Hobby Lobby and I was buying clay and I was buying tools and I was like, well, this is really cool. Like, I want to take my free time to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
That's how you know, like, you're onto something.
So it will resonate with you, and it will, and you'll find it. You'll definitely, you'll know at some point. Like when I first started picking up ZBrush, I was like, oh, I really like this program. And then years later, I put it down because the program wasn't like advanced enough. But years later, when I went to know and I saw someone, I was sitting in class and I'm watching someone sculpt something in ZBrush, and I'm like, I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
That was a big moment in realizing, like, because I saw people working in Maya, I saw people working in other programs, but I saw someone working in ZBrush, and I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Sometimes that spark will come at you very, very bright. When you have your kind of aha moment about who you are. So what is the question is, should I design my own creatures, or should I just take a concept and model that? That's kind of what I'm assuming is the question. I would say both.
Yeah, both are very important.
Yeah, like you need to learn how to see, right, and interpret other people's designs. That is also a part of the job, because you will get tasked with modeling other designs. That happened to me on Antlers, where I was tasked with. They're like, here's Guy Davis's designs. Can you bring this into ZBrush and do some development on it? That's what my task was on that show, and I loved it because I got to look at Guy Davis designs.
Yeah.
Dude is amazing.
Insane.
He's a fantastic artist. And then there are times when I get tasked with designing my own stuff, which is mostly what I'm tasked with. And so, you need to learn how to design on your own, and you need to learn how to model other people's designs.
Yeah, I mean, anatomy first and foremost.
Yeah.
Whenever you look at other people's concept art and you're recreating that, you have to dive into, the cause and the anatomy of that image. Like, what are they conveying? Like, and you have to do all sorts of research just to understand how to land the shapes and the forms,
Learn design language as well. Learn what makes appealing designs. There, even as a creature artist, I study a lot, believe it or not, a lot of Disney stuff, because I'm interested in how Disney approaches design.
Well, yeah, the shape language is so effective. You know,
Yeah,
they're
it's
giving
so
you
used.
characters. They're giving you characters just with basic shapes, and you can feel that they're insecure or powerful
Yeah,
or stealthy or sneaky or whatever it is. Like just in their shape language,
yeah.
it's wild.
So some of those design principles, those are passed down from animation, and those absolutely apply to creatures. So it is a there's a lot to learn from designers of all kinds, from simplistic to realistic.
Mhm.
There's not just kind of like one thing you need to learn. There's a million things. You'll always be learning.
I would be learning.
Always be learning. I always be learning my creatures.
Yeah, one thing that's always I mean, this comes just from being any sort of CG artist, especially if you have any background in loop development. The second you learn how to texture and shade stuff, you go out into the real world and you're looking at bricks and you're looking at asphalt and you're like, wow, like look at that reflection. Like
Yeah,
you're analyzing every like mathematical and look development standpoint you understand at the time, just like how could I make that? Oh, okay, well that's how that looks, and that's any good teacher will tell you, like, gather reference but go out in the world and
yeah,
look at it,
yeah,
right? Because with cameras you have exposure and, I mean, fill in the infinite blanks on the variables in taking a photograph, but whenever you go look at it with your eyes and you're like, you can understand, like, okay, so wood kind of just reflects this way and it's
yeah,
soft that way. And,
yeah,
like, it's stuff like that you apply to creatures whenever you get those cool jobs, like you're like having a dog, right?
yeah.
You
Oh,
like you're making a werewolf and
yeah.
you've got millions of pictures of reference, and then you see your dog do one thing and you're like, oh shit, like
Uh,
like that's insane, like how they move or the locomotion or how they sit or how they act. You're like, oh, I haven't seen that action in real time, you know what I mean? Until you
I
see it live.
I'll make my screen big here. Um,
Oh yeah, was
but
this
like
for
I
Pete's Dragon?
yeah. For Pete's Dragon, I actually took a bunch of photos of Gilly,
Yeah.
and she's such a sweetheart. She lets
What
us.
a sweet baby.
She's such a
She's
sweet
such a
baby.
sweet baby.
She's like a gentle soul. She's scared of like plastic bags that fall.
Yeah, yeah.
She's such a gentle soul. But I took these photos, and these are just on my phone, and I had a much crappier phone then. But this was enough for me to like, okay, look at a dog's paw.
Yeah,
Look at this shape. Look at this.
yeah.
Look at all the little like scratches and stuff. This is where I learned that like dog nails are have a little scoop in them.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like concavity in there because they're dogs dig in dirt. So I was lifting up her lip, and she got a lot of treats, so don't worry. But like this is what I do to she's just such a sweetie.
What a baby.
She's such a baby. So this is what I do when I have a job, and if you can go out and shoot stuff with your phone, that's the way to do it. Like go out there, take pictures. This is one thing I learned about dogs from this shoot is she has this little scoop here.
Yeah. I was looking at
this.
that like last week. Yeah.
So her nose comes up and around and then up. And so what I learned is that this scoop here, this little like vent, this lets out excess air so they can take in more of the smell molecules.
Smell molecules.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like after you go to the bathroom and you leave a bunch of smell molecules around.
You just leave them hanging around.
But that's one thing that I learned from taking
really cool.
taking pictures of her was looking at that little scoop at the end of her nose. And now that's just in my visual library
Yeah.
stuff. So when I'm sculpting or concepting a creature,
Yeah,
I
you
think
know
about
it's
that stuff.
there. Yeah, you know it's there.
You
Yeah.
just know it's there. And other things that I was, I'd be like back legs, especially like the trilateral leg.
Yeah.
It just helps having a dog around.
Oh, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Seeing them sit down is crazy.
yeah. It blows
Like,
my mind every time.
Every time. It's like, how in the...
How their legs are so weird, and it's so like unique. This is another thing that popped out at me. It was like her little knuckle here. So you hit the knuckle, and then it shoots down into the claw. So that's some good reference that I'll be using, later for Goliath.
Yeah.
So it's all a part of it, All this stuff makes you a better artist. The skills of observation and looking at the world with fresh eyes.
Yeah, it's the most valuable thing you can have is a good eye,
Yeah, and they'll talk about that, like in hiring, they'll be like, yeah, we think you have a great eye, and that's it's a nice compliment.
That's a very good compliment.
Because in visual effects, especially where things are, you're scrubbing through frame by frame on these things, you got to have a good eye.
Yeah, and that's the issue is every time they say that to me, I think that they're actually complimenting my one good eye.
Your one good eye.
Yeah, because the other one is just...
You got a garbage eye?
It's a garbage eye.
You have a garbage eye. It's funny. I have a garbage eye, but they said my brain compensates for my garbage eye.
Oh, you just have such a big, fat, juicy brain that it's...
My brain is so awesome and amazing. It compensates for my garbage eye.
It's just a big, nasty brain.
It's just I got a lot of nasty in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird stuff going on in there.
Lots of stuff going on. Abby says he's chiming in here real quick. He says, "I love Nickelback."
That is... Well, thank God. Thank God for Abby.
I think it's good to like things.
Liking things is part of life. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great.
And look, if you want to like Nickelback,
you can like stuff that you like.
You can like that. Matt loves Nickelback.
I love Nickelback.
He would come in all the time.
Every morning.
Someone has to.
Yeah.
All the time he would come in and he'd be like, guys,
have you heard?
Look at this photograph.
Look at this photograph. That's what I would say every time.
and I'd be like, man, he's right.
He's right. We really do need to look at this photograph.
I love Imagine Dragons. That
hurts my feelings. It really does.
Hey, Radioactive is a banger.
Okay.
Just agree with me.
No, man, I play death metal. I don't know how to do it.
I can't, and I won't. The only thing that's kind of bugging me about Goliath is his shapes are a little too exaggerated at the moment.
Let's check it out. In the face?
Yeah, I think it's a little exaggerated.
Show me the cartoon. Yeah, there he is. Well, that's that. Show me a different image though, like those sexy profile ones. Yeah, that one right there. That's the one that looks nice.
Oh, there it is. You know why? It's the scoop down here.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm missing is.
Yeah. So are you pushing the cheekbones out?
I think push the cheekbones out.
And then counter a little bit, maybe in the
there we go
jawline. Yeah. There you go, dude. Yeah. That's sick.
There it is. And he does kind of look like he's kind of tucking his mouth in a little bit.
Yeah, because those cartoons, man, like the front facing images are always,
A little deceptive.
yeah, they're always weaker than the 3/4 because everything happens in 3/4 in cartoons.
That's what gives you the most dimension.
Yeah.
That tells the whole story. Oh, yeah.
Radioactive. You make me
Yeah.
want
See.
to. You make me
You want to
want.
listen to it now.
No, you make me want to die. Is what I've been trying to say.
It's okay to like something, Matt.
I don't like that, and I would never admit
You
to
can
liking
like one song of theirs.
it. Do they sing the song "Take Me to Church"?
No, that's Hosier.
Yeah, well, I hate both of those songs. So there you have it, folks.
Look, I get it on the Hosier though. I get it. That song was everywhere, and it was, it was like inundated with that song. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, man, totally. I almost went and saw Uncharted today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
With the Tom Holland.
Yeah, with the Timothy.
The
Timothy Holland.
Timothy. And why did you not go see it?
I was busy, man. I had a late lunch and I had to do some work, and I was like, well, because they were seeing it at like 5:30 my time, and I was like, I don't know. But I am one of those guys that's like kind of, what's the word? I'm right in the perfect like demographic for it, because like I have played the games, but I don't really care about it. So I'm not married. I'm not married to
to it,
Nathan
so
Drake and all this stuff. It's basically just like an Indiana Jones movie with Marky Mark.
Yeah, you got Marky Mark and Spider-Man.
Oh, dude, and I have seen every. It's like Nicolas Cage, man. I love Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark movies. Mark
Bartles.
I have seen all of his movies. All the random, like, I was in prison, but also in the military, and now I'm out, and my wife, and she's got a baby, but my past. There's like 10 of those, and they're great.
And they're like, but my past, it keeps
But
coming
my
back.
past. Your Honor, it's my past.
Your Honor, I'm trying to change, but my past. My past is my future. Yeah, whatever. Lost it. Wings.
You like chicken wings?
I like gargoyle wings.
Do you like chicken wings?
I like.
You don't like chicken wings?
I don't like chicken wings.
Oh my god!
I'm kidding. Who doesn't love chicken wings?
I don't know, man. But now, like, the shock was too much.
Oh, we can't go back, huh?
Oh, I'm so glad you like them, but I got scared for a second. I remember we ate chicken wings together.
We ate a lot of chicken wings together.
Yeah. So I don't know why I was
Are you? I mean, I like things hot. I like it very, very spicy.
I want punishment tomorrow hot.
I want to cry. Like, I want to cry and feel bad.
I want to fall over and like consider every religion. Like, this is it. Like, which one do I subscribe to? I'm going to die.
Everything is ending, and nothing is happening. Like, yeah. You're like, I want to see through time. I want to see through time and space.
Concept of time.
I think I'm going to pop some hair in there. What do you think?
I think I haven't heard anyone say that to me in a couple of years.
I want to pop some hair in there. good hair going. Because like Goliath is all about his hair. He's got like the greatest mullet.
That was Samson. That was all about his hair. So
No, but I mean, you know,
I'm just kidding.
you know.
Yeah, let's take a gander. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. Oh yeah, okay, I see what's going on.
He's got a little bit of Guile from Street Fighter.
Little bit of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
A little bit of Van Damme in
The
there.
most American actor to play the most American character in the Street Fighter movie.
He's like, my name is Guile. Oh man. You know, I saw that in theaters.
I saw it in theaters as well. I bought the game on Sega Saturn.
Saturn.
Yeah, I had to sell so many of my games so that I could go to Toys R Us and trade them in and buy the Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Street Fighter, the movie that you bought the game. Street Fighter, the game.
Yeah, the worst fighting game ever to have been made. Because you know, Mortal Kombat was supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme fighting game.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. That's why Johnny Cage is Johnny Cage.
No kidding.
So basically, he didn't understand anything about video games, and his producer was like, or his manager was like, "This is a waste of time." And then Midway was the name of the company back in the day, like 1990. They were like, "Well, we're gonna make this game, and we're gonna make a Bruce Lee character, and we're gonna make a Jean-Claude Van Damme character, and we'll just call him something different." And John Tobias was a huge, just a huge fan of kind of the Chinese ninja culture, you know. So they ended up making just all of these like sick ass characters, man. And so thanks to Jean-Claude, we've got Mortal Kombat.
What a that's kind of beautiful. Is that kind of who they modeled Johnny Cage on?
That's what I was saying. Is like they literally were going to make that be his, like, Mortal Kombat was going to be his video game.
Wow, you know, because like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies in the day at their peak, that was everything.
Oh yeah, the muscles from Brussels, baby.
Oh, dude, Bloodsport. You remember Lionheart?
Oh yeah, but dude, like my favorite thing about it is that, like, say what you will, I love the Expendables movies. I love those movies. They are so good.
You know, if you
having him be the bad guy,
have a sense of humor about stuff.
Oh yeah,
those movies are meant to be funny.
Oh, dude, just of course. I mean, they're full blown action. Yeah, they're full blown. Just, are these guys taking themselves seriously, or is it, you know, it's like Last Action Hero, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, but Last Action Hero is genuinely awesome.
Oh, dude, just like the Expendables movies.
Yeah.
They are just blowing shit up. It's awesome.
What's fun is, like, when something starts as kind of like a parody and then it kind of transcends that and becomes its own thing. That's what Last Action Hero did for me. Like, it really transcended the all the stuff it was making fun of, and it becomes like its own, you know, kind of, you know, its own thing. And you know, the commitment to the bit, you know, is what makes it so great. But my favorite part of Last Action Hero is Charles Dance.
Oh man,
that dude shreds that movie.
And you gotta shred.
You gotta shred.
You gotta shred to make it work.
In all things, one must shred.
That's been my My nickname has been Slayer for I don't even know how many years here in Arkansas. Every job I worked.
It's been Slayer.
Yeah, and
Is that
that's
why you named your dog Slayer?
yeah. The joke was that if I ever got a dog, I name him Slayer
And you did.
and
And
Slayer shreds.
and he's a little shredder.
Slayer shreds.
We named Gilly after the Gill Man.
Dude, of course.
Yeah. Gregor mentions Starship Troopers committing to the bit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Starship Troopers. That.
Dude.
I mean, come on, that movie's just. That's Verhoeven at his best.
Yeah, the SFX on it are insane. Absolutely incredible.
And those bugs still hold up, and the reason why is it's hard
to this, and they hold up 100%.
Yeah.
It's not even like that's this like animation materials, dude. God, it's incredible for a movie that's like I love the whole satire on propaganda. I love that. It's incredible.
It was so funny when people did not get that, or they take it seriously.
But it is so blatant.
So blatant.
Like, how could they not?
How do you not understand satire? And now you see, like, once I get the hair in there, the character starts coming.
Yeah. Just the likeness is shining through already.
Yeah, it's starting to develop.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do a check-in.
Okay, cool.
It's time for the check-in. We're gonna check in on Matt. Oh yeah, look at that boy.
Yeah, man. I haven't blocked any tentacles yet. I've just been finding some interesting profile shapes.
That's
got this
fun.
kind of like gullet coming down under here.
That's really fun.
Yeah, just working on some head anatomy, trying to get some silhouettes looking good because I'm thinking, I want to print it and have it like doing some cool stuff. So now that I have this giant printer, why not just print everything that you make, right?
That you can do anything you want.
You can say whatever
we can do whatever the hell we want here.
But the second that I start popping those tentacles in, even just placeholder here in the next like 5 or 10 minutes, it'll give the whole beholder vibe for sure. But I always have fun doing that weird kind of. I'm constantly channeling Carlos Huante. Man, I saw him speak years and years ago, and dude is brilliant. His artwork is beautiful, and everywhere, every art institute, every artist will tell you, you need to learn your anatomy. And whenever I saw Huante speak, he was like, dude, learn anatomy, but like, don't live off of it. Don't keep that picture open and try and replicate those exact forms. Like, use that and interpret it. That's what makes it a little unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with these like kind of D&D fantastical characters where anything goes. You use that to your advantage, and it's just so fun. Just finding things that look like they would work, right? But they're not based 100% in reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Huante's really good at stretching anatomy and warping it.
Just twisting and skewing and so awesome.
Yeah, he's dude's like got a really unique brain. One thing he always talked about was the imagination, like sculpting, creating from imagination.
Yeah, that's what he was. Yeah, it's basically what he was talking about. Yeah,
and that it's a muscle, and you got to flex that muscle to get stronger.
That's awesome.
I mean, just what's so cool is like you give something to a group of different artists, and they're all going to come up with something different.
That is the coolest part. That was the coolest part about all working together, is seeing what, 6 or 7 different artists came up with the same prompt. You know what I mean?
We would all get tasked with like the same thing, and then we would all come up with something entirely different.
Yeah, for sure.
And yet somehow, and it was kind of like what Jared was saying, is like it's whoever guesses right.
Yeah, for sure.
know?
And it's like even sometimes on a bad day, like you just block in some stuff and they're like, oh, this direction is cool. And you're like, oh, weird. I was not expecting that.
And you're like, okay, oh, well, there it is.
Yeah, because you're just, I don't know. It's weird.
That's what you're like, I guess we're going here.
Yeah, all clients are different,
Yeah, reading the client too. That also becomes a skill.
Oh yeah.
Like being able to, it helps if they have a body of work already, because then you kind of go like, oh, I'm going to fit into this world.
Yeah, this is what they respond to.
This is what they respond to.
Yeah.
It's a little harder when you have a director that you've never worked with before, or that maybe doesn't have that body of work, because you're trying to figure out what their tastes are. What do they like?
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't want to say most of the time, but some of the time they don't have that vision, and they want you to figure that out. And it's like you're going off of nothing. So you're shooting in the dark. You know what I mean?
I felt like that on Rampage. And
which time?
Well, I mean, I didn't get anything through on Rampage.
Yeah, but I know that you worked on it before I even started at ASC, and then a year later it came in again, right?
I don't remember it coming in before. But we were on it for a while, and I had been doing Wolves. I'd been doing a lot of Ralphs.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just kind of hitting my wall because I just I was giving what I thought he was asking for.
Right.
And then you came in shortly. It was like shortly there, shortly after we had started on it.
Okay. Maybe I get, okay.
And then
I knew it had come in before, but I didn't know how long before.
It didn't seem like it was we were on it for that long.
Okay.
It might have been just a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
And then you came in and we tasked you with Ralph, and you nailed it. You shredded it. And we were like, okay, Matt's got Ralph. And it was the same thing with Lizzie too. Oh yeah, for sure. Because I tried a bunch of different Lizzies, or I didn't really try that many. But then Dan nailed it.
Yeah.
Dan Eatery. He just came in, he did a Lizzie, and they liked it, and the rest was history.
Yeah, for sure. It was. I remember those meetings were very odd.
They were odd.
Working with those some of those guys. It was one of those very classic. Like I tell the story all the time of clients. They're trying to find a way to communicate to you, right? Because they don't know your language and they don't know how you work, but they're like, make them look a little more rock and roll, or make him, and you're like, what? Like, does he need a leather jacket with studs on it? Like, what does that mean, right? But I remember whenever I first started getting traction on Rampage, one of the comments was, and it was on mine, he was like, okay, so this is like the walkway model, like the Marilyn Monroe Ralph. And we were all just in the room at the table like, okay, Yeah, for sure.
Ah,
This is the he was like, but I want it to be, and he would like give some example of some other, it was just like
yeah.
sometimes like clients, man, sometimes
Yeah,
that's the thing.
he had a different way. Brad Payton directed that.
Brett, yes, but that wasn't Brad Payton that was talking to us. It was his oh, who was it? Producer or whatever. But yeah, him and Brad Payton both, like, they have a very
Yeah,
particular, they want everything to be scientifically sound with their
yeah,
films.
that was funny because I remember that moment very clearly in that meeting, because in the beginning, that I did so much research, like actual scientific research on, because he was talking about CRISPR and this
Yeah.
technology,
Yeah,
and
dude,
so
we did a ton. Yeah. And
I
you,
put
I
a
mean,
packet
dude, you
together.
put a whole, yeah, I was about to
I put a
say, you
whole
put a whole packet together.
dude.
That
I
was
put a
awesome.
whole packet together. I now like just know stuff from that research that is just in my brain now. It was the myostatin inhibitor. That was the big thing I learned about that. So the myostatin inhibitor. Let me Belgian blue. Let me pull this up. So this is a kind of cow. So we're Matt and I are kind of we're going back a ways to talk. Since we're talking about Rampage. Um,
Rampage.
it was a fun show to work on.
Oh yeah, dude, I remember you pulling up all these
Yeah,
what is that called? Where they're all beefed out?
these are called Belgian blues, and they're a breed of bull and cattle, um, and they have what's called double muscling. So their muscles are like stacked on top of muscles. Basically, what it is there's something called the myostatin inhibitor, which basically tells your muscles to shut off, building up muscle mass. These guys, their myostatin inhibitors turned off, so that allows their muscles to just grow like this, and they look like really freakish cows. And they got these big old rumps. Look at they got the most
Oh
awesome little rump.
man. Mm.
Look at that! Look at that rump.
They got them yams.
They got them yams back there. Look at that boy.
That's it.
So they're really unique. I mean, look at the muscling on, like it's a shelf here, like it's sitting on top of of everything. So they get really really huge, and they're bred this way. They're bred with the myostatin inhibitor out, like myostatin inhibitor. You'll see it. There's also this famous dog here too. This Whippet, who also has this double muscle.
Oh yeah,
So we looked up this guy too.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
he is ripped. He's just shredded.
I remember the hairless bear being one of those references that they
That was
kept
that
bringing
reference
up.
I used a lot.
Yeah.
That hairless bear has been used in so many creatures
Yeah.
for forever. And whenever a client brings them up, I'm like, oh, there he is. There's
Yeah.
my buddy. That's what's fun about the process of creation as well. Is that you learn something, and then years later it comes back, and you're like, oh, what about this? We tried this with this. It didn't work, but maybe it would work for this. And that's what's really cool. Is you just kind of like pick up stuff over time. You get a little eyeball in there.
I'm getting there. There we go.
I've been pretty much just doing the fun stuff, which is just like focusing on Goliath's face, just because.
I mean, we're in fun zone, right?
We're in fun town.
We want.
I gotta go back.
Fun zone.
I gotta make sure I'm holding to my kind of like own, my own rules here. Make sure that I'm like really.
Dude, I mean, not even looking at the reference. I just I haven't looked at it in 10 minutes, but not even seeing your reference, it looks like him 100%.
Well, thank you, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little challenging.
The jawline and the profile is looking pretty dope. I think once you lock those little horns in up top, that'll look awesome.
Yeah, I gotta admit, this one's a little challenging just because his features are so pronounced.
So yeah, like, I mean, it's a cartoon as well, so it just like makes it impossible. That's awesome.
What's fun about doing fan art like this is that like the problem is already solved, you know, and you're just trying to essentially add another problem on top of it, which is like make it feel real.
Yeah, the anatomy you've pushed into there looks like really, really, really great, man.
Thank you, buddy. He's getting there. There was a question about create dragon scales using IMM brush and then Dynamesh it.
I mean, okay. What was that? What was the question?
It's how to create a dragon scale and then use it as an IMM brush. Oh. I mean, I would recommend. I don't want to go into it now. Maybe we can do like a. Maybe we'll. You know what we can do is we'll do like a demo day where you just ask us how to make stuff and we'll just make everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm in a flow and I don't want to break that up at the moment.
Yeah, but, for sure. And there's even just making an IMM brush of a single scale on them and dragging it onto a model and dynameshing it, like you can kind of learn the basics with that. You know what I mean? Even just starting with your question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you
make a scale model.
Yeah, that's kind of the answer.
Brush, create insert mesh, drag it onto a model, and dynamesh.
I would say, I mean, as always, I recommend Michael Pavlovich videos.
The dude is insane.
Dude,
he knows everything, and he is so good.
Everything,
he's so good.
He is the workflow master. So as always, I fully recommend checking out his videos. Mike Pav on YouTube.
P-A-V. V as in Valentine.
Pavlovich. I mean, dude's been around in the industry, I think, longer than I have.
Yeah, dude is a monster. He's so good.
He's a beast. And he's so fast, and he...
Yeah, that's what's like, oh, wow. Like, you're just...
What also kills me is, like, is he can talk the whole way through it.
Yeah. Just seeing him read the questions in real time is like, how do you make him, like a minigun in using a ray mesh? He's like, okay, yeah, you can totally do that. And it's like, oh my God, dude, you just know.
He just knows. I mean, just because he's and that's just what happens. You gain proficiency in any program, and you're gonna get good over time. So yeah, check out his videos. But maybe we'll do an Ask Us session where you ask us how to make certain things, and we'll attempt it.
Sure.
Why not?
Sounds good to me.
Why not? Think about how much thought went into picking the correct diameter for a Pringles can. Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably like the width of the hand itself. Like, did they pick like a hand? Like, whoever like designed a Pringles can around like reaching your arm in probably had a very slender hand. Because
see, I would imagine it'd be one of those things to where like the company was initially going to be making wafers and they had already produced like 100,000 cans, and they were like, well, the wafers aren't selling, but your chips are doing great, and so they just had to use the product that was already around.
There's
and it just became the the standard. That's my conspiracy theory.
There's an old Mitch Hedberg joke where he's like, Pringles is a chill company. They wanted to make tennis balls, but then a bunch of potatoes showed up and they said, fuck it, let's make them.
Yeah.
We're making potato chips, baby.
R.A.P. Mitch Hedberg.
Oh,
that dude was funny, bro.
He would have slayed Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
He would have just owned Twitter. Miss that dude. I used to listen to all his comedy albums.
Oh yeah, dude.
Driving
home CD. Yeah.
Because that's, we had to use CDs back then.
Oh, dude, yeah. That's how you found new music, was going to Blockbuster and going to the new release section and being like, or not Blockbuster, Best Buy, and being like, okay, well, what CDs came out this week?
Tower Records.
And some places even had listening stations. You could just bust out the CD, listen to it for a second, be like, do I like this? I'm gonna buy it.
Sam Goody.
Yeah, Sam Goody. All the Christian ones like Mardell, and they had that stuff. Wow. Now
we're just aging ourselves with every
People are like, what are you guys talking about?
What are you guys even talking about?
And why do I hate it so much?
I mean, guys, I remember the internet being made.
Same.
Going on AOL.
Yep. AIM.
Nobody watches AOL Blast.
AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh man, those were the days. The internet was pure.
The internet was pure.
No, it was always.
That's really funny.
It was always bad.
One thing that I do remember being very young at the very beginning of the internet was the first memes. And the first memes I encountered, it was right after Mike Tyson had bit Evander Holyfield's ear off.
Oh,
and
that's way back.
The picture going around the internet was Eerios instead of Cheerios. And it had a box of Cheerios and Mike Tyson's face and a bowl full of ears.
Is that still around? I bet it is.
Oh, dude, I'm sure it is. But as a child, that had just happened. And that was the first time I experienced there's funny, weird jokes on the internet.
Man, I actually learned about Reddit when I was on the job.
When I was on the job,
when I was on the job, I learned about Reddit because I was so bored with the internet, and a colleague told me about Reddit, and I was like, oh. And then I learned about all the meme, like vaccine. And that's how we learned about memes.
And we love memes, guys.
We love memes. Let me tell you, the chat with the group chat that we have is just bad.
Yeah, it is a full-blown eldritch madness the entire time. The amount of sense that is made in that group is close to -0, and that's not even a real thing.
We are the most ridiculous people. God, it keeps me going.
It's true. It's just that special little slice every day.
You get to share silly things with your friends. Yeah, see now the kind of the shadows are starting to appear. Let me do a little rendy.
Do some rendies.
So I like to over here I have the global strength of my shadows set. I have it set to a little button up top here.
Yeah.
So I like to crank it up so I can really read what the graphic shadows are. And then I have my little light sphere up here. So this allows me to like toss my light around.
Yeah.
So it's a nice way to examine your forms and like get a sense of like how stuff's starting to read.
Yeah.
And does a you'll know when you start seeing the shadows appear. Because ZBrush, again, it's a little deceptive.
Yeah.
But like now it's starting to read.
Dude, one of the things I'll do that I thought was cool that speaks on what you're saying is I'll pull in, like, if I'm gonna do a some sort of likeness or a human character, or if I'm even doing like anatomy, I'll pull in one of those scans, like a base mesh scan that we have, and I'll screenshot it up at the top. And then any time you change your light, the screenshot, the Shift S, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Oh, that'll go
changes.
with
It changes, the light changes with it if you have the basic material on it. So it helps you kind of like
gauge.
yeah, you're like, okay, so like the scanned human face over here, I can see the forms showing up with the light changing here, and you can look at your model and be like, okay,
Great idea.
is that happening? You know what I mean?
I've
But yeah,
got, let me see. I've got a great face for that now. Let's try it and see.
It's just really cool to have that. That's the thing that was so important, was like how the light reacts around the model. But since you're just kind of screenshotting it in ZBrush with the 3D model, it changes the light and you can read the forms.
All right, I'll pop them up here, up in the top here. It's always good to have like a human for reference anyway.
Yeah, does he have a basic material?
He's got techies on him.
Yeah, but like change your light source. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're good.
Yeah.
Just like Shift S and then go back to your guy. And then whenever you move your light around, it'll move around on his head. Look at that.
That's the beauty.
Isn't that tight?
Oh, see, but I'm hitting Shift R. Shift S is snapshot.
What is Shift R?
Shift R is for the BPR render. You're thinking best preview.
No,
best
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying Shift F to keep his.
Just like
keep his little snapshot up there.
Just a little snapshot.
So that while you're sculpting, you can reference where the light's rolling off on your scanned model or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. It's nice. We are gargoyles.
We are gargoyles.
We are gargoyles. Gargoyle.
Digimon, digital monsters.
Digital monsters. Love Goliath. So excited to actually get to tackle him again.
Yeah, right.
In a proper sculpt. Like I was the first time I tried it, I was doing it in between stuff, and I'm like, it's not working. Maybe I've still got him saved. So what I'll do is we'll do a comparison. I'll show you where
cool. Yeah.
I'll show you where I was, and then I'll show you like where he is now.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, how long ago was that?
Years.
I mean,
years ago.
Very, very long time ago.
Very, very long time ago. We love Goliath, don't we, folks? Such a handsome. Like, do I want to go get a beer with Goliath?
I mean, we want to hang out with Goliath, but he would probably outdrink everyone.
I bet he would.
I mean, it's true.
Ooh, a little toy. I got one of those ultimate gremlins.
Oh, dude, nice. That is awesome.
Little flasher gremlin.
That's incredible.
He comes with like 5 or 6 cigarettes. And so I've been giving all my other toys like little cigarettes in their mouth.
Smokes. Dude,
yeah.
Have you seen the Key and Peele sketch where they make fun of?
Yes.
Oh man, that's got to be one of the greatest sketches I've ever seen. It's so funny.
And it's because that movie is so great.
Yeah, I mean the movies are incredible.
It is a shame we never got like a Gremlins 3. You know, that they never just like finished off the trilogy.
Yeah.
But, you know, the 90s were a wild time. Like you could get a sequel and never see a third movie.
Yeah, for sure. But
now supposedly there's a TV show in the works.
Oh really? That's fun.
They're gonna do a little.
I hope it's just as fun. You know.
I think it's got to be. You know, because they've always had like a little bit of cheeky humor.
Yeah, I mean, it's their entire deal is a little silly, a little fun, a little party,
a little scary. The first movie is more scary than the sequel for sure.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, yeah.
The sequel is just magnificent.
Oh my god!
The building that's like breaking apart. The references to Batman. Like
I mean, used to watch it every Christmas. It would come on TNT, and you would just watch them both back to back. Which TNT?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean, people might not remember. I don't know who watches, what the demographic is, but TNT was awesome back in the day.
Oh, TNT was great because you would find all those movies on it.
Oh yeah.
And they I'm sure it's still around, right? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't even know anymore. But I loved TNT. That's and probably when everybody was talking about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
They kept saying TCM. I'm like, Turner Classic Movies?
Yeah, I remember I said that to you in our group, and you were like, Turner Classic Movie, and I was like, no.
Got to throw on a Turner Classic Movie every so often.
I mean, every now and then, you know, for people that are married, I can understand.
Is that a dig?
That might be a dig.
Just
a subtle.
No, that's
subtle, humble.
Because now married couples just watch food shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the cooking show.
Yeah, or Blind Love.
Yes. Have you watched that? I have not.
No, I have only been around my friends that are couples, and one party is complaining on the other party. Yeah, they're watching Blind Love.
We're watching Blind Love. My wife was into Selling Sunset for a while, and that was that tested our marriage.
Yeah.
I hated that show. Every time I would come in and it was on, I was like, "Oh my god, claw my eyeballs out of my skull."
That's funny. I can't directly relate, but I can say that some of the girls that I have dated, they have tried to show interest, like, oh, well, you know, show me, you know, show me like a horror movie you like. I'm like, are you sure?
Are you sure you want that? Like, there's
and then 2 hours later, they're like, don't you ever show me anything like that ever again. And I'm like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, there's a threshold.
Yeah, there really is. Because some people, you know, it's like those guys that say, "Oh, I listen to metal," and then you ask them what bands, and they say, you know, like
Metallica,
Nickelback,
Nickelback.
and you're like, "Bro, you've never listened to death metal in your whole life." Oh, you want to watch a horror film? Are you sure? Okay.
I will say, I yeah, guiltily, I've been watching all these food shows.
I
Um,
love I love food shows, man.
well, I'm trying to like learn how to cook.
Oh, you want to learn how to cook? You should have
I am a
said something.
terrible
I'll
cook.
teach you.
I am a terrible, terrible cook.
Oh, dude, I cooked for so
I
long.
burned soup once.
Dude, we can turn this. We can turn Creature Corner into how to cook food with Matt Millard and Jared Krichevsky pretty
I'm into
quickly.
it. I could learn a thing. But there is a show called The Chef Show, and it has Jon Favreau,
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah.
acclaimed director of Iron Man and Jungle Book and Lion King, and he
Right.
just goes around with his chef buddy, and they just make food and eat food all day. And
They just like to make food and eat food.
I'm so jealous because it's like the food he makes just looks amazing.
But also just that life of being like, I've got to wake up and make a TV show about me making awesome food and eating awesome food
Uh,
is
cool,
pretty
man.
dope.
He's got a good one, and I'm a little envious.
It's okay.
There's that show, Fresh, Fried, and Crispy, on Netflix as well, and that dude is hilarious.
That's how I like my hash browns.
Dude just eats fried food for like 8 episodes, and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna keel over.
Okay, so that reminds me of Man versus Food. You remember that
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
And it would always show him like working out at the beginning of the episode, and then he's just eating like 700,000 calories worth of food.
It just destroys. I mean, I can imagine it just destroys you
Oh yeah,
if that's any kind of show you're willing to do.
it's insane.
One food show host, I think it was Priyanka Chopra. She talked about like, I just eat really bland food when I'm not judging the show. She just like eats toast. Living Dead. Hi. Thank you so much.
Yes, you can ask as many questions as you
Ask
want.
away, guys. Ask us questions. That's what we're here for. We're just here to sculpt some monsters and talk about silly shit.
It's true.
Yeah. Come ask questions. We have obviously, we have experience sculpting creatures for a number of years. But you get good by just doing the same thing over and over and over. It's
Over and over again. Yeah.
repetition. Learning your foundations and all those things, and then and just getting stronger at that each time you do it. And then the more you do it, the better you get. The more confident you feel, and then you start. It becomes unconscious. So there's like the first stage when you're sculpting stuff, when you really got to think about it, and then over time, you get so confident because you've done it over and over again, it becomes unconscious. So you don't even need to think about it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I just got to do this torso that I did from the last creature I was on, or
Yeah.
I just got to have this. Yeah, like you start to pull from your experience.
Yeah.
You get
Exactly.
It becomes like muscle memory.
Exactly. You're training your brain, and the brain loves to specialize. Like your brain loves that shit. So the more you specialize, the better you get, and over time you just stop thinking about it. And that's when confidence kicks in too. You just start feeling like, oh, maybe I can do this today. Maybe I do know what I'm doing. It's an amazing feeling. But there's a whole lot of failure that you don't see
for a very long time.
Yeah, and you have to. I suppose you have to be willing to be vulnerable in that.
100%. I mean, you have to be able to take criticism on
Yeah,
something
that's
that
true.
you spent hours on. You know?
Initially, I think when you're a young artist and you're getting started, criticism hits you really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Emotionally, and that's because you are you're excited. I think you're excited and you're passionate, and so when you get criticized by something that you're passionate about, it hits you really hard. And so you're more sensitive, and then eventually you learn how to tear down that emotional wall, and now you get feedback, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever, and you keep going.
Yeah, you accept it ahead of time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
You understand, I guess, what's the trendy thing, that the trend that's going, understanding the assignment. You understand the assignment.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you're like, you understand, like, this is not my movie. They're hiring me to do this work. I want to do my own flavor on here, but you have to be able to separate
Yeah.
their project from your talent, you know, because maybe they have a different idea of how it works, and that's fine.
Yeah, your job is to execute someone else's idea. That's your job. And you know, once you understand that, and you make peace with that, then you're fine. You know, then you start feeling good. How realistic of a goal is it to become a freelance concept sculptor? Well, it is realistic. You can do it. I think it helps to understand production. You need to understand the workflow, the pipeline. You need to be able to take a model all the way to finish.
Yeah, you got to know what that means.
Yeah,
in order to be efficient, for
yeah.
sure.
You need
you have to know what it means.
You have to know. You have to know, because once you have built once you built like a model, a proper model all the way through, then you know the shortcuts where you can cheat stuff. And so that helps build speed and confidence. So it is realistic. You know, you need concept sculptors. You know, it's a valuable part of the pipeline. But yeah, you need to be able to know how to take your model all the way to finish too.
100%.
I'm actually relearning how to do all that stuff, because that's, you know, knowledge that has deteriorated in my brain. So I'm relearning, you know, Substance Painter, because not because I'm being demanded of it, but just because I want to get better at that side of, you know, the texturing look dev side of things. Just in case someone calls me and they're like, "Hey, you want to do that?" I'll be like, "Sure."
Well, plus, I mean, it's like, you know, whenever you're on a design gig, and let's say you're in the latter stages, and they ask you for your model, knowing what needs to be in a model to drive those texture maps, like your curvature and your occlusion and your world position and all that stuff in Substance Painter, that informs how you sculpt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're like, okay, well, I can use this detail to drive my texture maps. And if you learn how to do that, you become even more valuable. You know?
You get strong. The other thing is, like, if you're not interested in that side of things, the pipeline side of stuff, look into toys and action figures, things like that, because you don't need texture maps. It's just sculpture. Now for toys is a little different, because you really have to push your models really hard.
Yeah.
Those are going to print.
Yeah, and that's where having even even a small 3D printer and printing out your models, it will tell you everything you need to know about what
100%.
needs to be pushed and what's showing up.
Another question is which brush is best for making a surface smooth? A lot of smoothing brushes like planer, trim, etc., etc. I mean, those are all great brushes, planer, trim, etc. But really, smoothing the surface is just smooth. To get a hard edge on something, clay buildup. I mean, now if I'm sculpting, I spend a lot of time before detailing, polishing the surface underneath. So I would use I have brushes over here like H polish. H polish will do that, or trim dynamic as well. So if I want to get some like edges on these horns here, trim dynamic is the way to go with that. But I would spend a lot of time working the shapes underneath.
Yeah, one
Really solid.
One thing that I, to speak on what you're saying, one thing that whenever I had a couple of jobs where I had to do a bunch of hard surface work, and one thing I found in my research is that there was always that one question. It was like, how to make surface good, right? And after like hours and hours of research, the answer is literally there is not a brush and there is not a thing you can do. You actually have to go in and take a lot of time and get it to look right. You can use like the right brushes, you can use the right techniques, but ultimately, like if you're panel looping, you're going to have to resculpt and reposition. If you're using high polish and this and that, you're going to have to use trim dynamic and pinch to try and match your original shape. And it's really, there's not a quick way to make it nice and tight. And that is what I have learned.
Yeah. It's working a form over and over and over.
Yes.
I'll tell you this, just sculpting is resculpting.
All the time.
All the time. You are just constantly adding and subtracting and moving. That's a big thing I would say as well, is just like move around your model all the time. Don't get stuck in like one position. Just like, get underneath. Another thing is like get underneath your model and really like look at the forms underneath. Get on top of it. Those things are invaluable in sculpting, especially digital sculpting, because it's real easy to get locked into one view where you're, because you get obsessed with something, and it's real easy to just, only sculpt that, move the lights. Exactly. Gregor said, move the lights, get upside down, put your right foot in, take your right foot out.
Yeah.
Put your right foot.
Sure. Shake it all about.
Yeah.
The most important thing is the same practice to echo what you're saying. Whenever you're writing a song and you're trying to learn a guitar riff or whatever it is, you take a break and do something completely different for even like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And the second you come back, you've got fresh ears, you've got fresh eyes. It's just like right now, like I'm moving stuff around and I'm like, oh shit, I've been looking at this for too long, right?
Yeah.
Like I need to step out for a second just to come back and be like, okay, is this what I'm feeling? That happens every time you're working on a project, and it's very important to take those intermittent breaks.
That refresh from like walking away, coming back, so vital.
100%.
It's so good for you, because all the time I do it, even if I get up for a minute, and walk around, you come back, suddenly you've got those eyes again, and like new things will show up to you. You'll be like, aha. Let me see. learned in my studies that not every study project will be a project to put in your portfolio. Yeah, you're right. You got to
100%.
experiment and try stuff. I would say this, like break up like into big, medium, and small. Like do something small that's satisfying, like a head sculpt. Do something that's big for like a portfolio piece, and then do something like medium that like is a little bit challenging, maybe outside of your comfort zone, that you feel like is doable. The one thing I see with students all the time is they bite off more than they can chew right away.
100%.
And we've all done it.
I was about to say I did the same thing.
Yeah, we've all done it. We all did it. I did it too. Is like you're like, oh man, I'm gonna tackle this huge landscape or this huge creature idea. Don't do that. Do something small that's doable. That's why I think busts, like head busts like this, small and doable, right? In a few hours, I've got my Goliath here. That's just his head, because it takes time to sculpt. So like, there's no way I was going to sculpt a head and a full body. Full body I've already got made from other parts and pieces. But the head, I knew I was going to just sculpt the head today, because that was going to take all my time. You have to remember, like, sculpture is time intensive. It doesn't feel physical, like physical time, because you're in digital, right? Like it's digital, but it is actual physical time to sculpt digitally. Like, it takes time. All right, so we've got like 10 minutes left. Matt, you stayed up past your bedtime.
I sure did, man. I was just feeling like
you were having fun.
I was just feeling like having a good time.
You were deep in the Z.
I was, I was full blown D in the Z.
And that's it. It's a beautiful feeling when you hit a flow and you start feeling good.
Yeah, plus it's like you would never, it's like I would never do this project other than for personal, for personal gratification. So it's just kind of fun to dick around. You know what I mean?
I bet me. I've been wanting to do Goliath forever.
Oh yeah, man.
I just really get to tackle one. So it's nice to be able to like actually get to sit and sculpt them. It's really, really satisfying to do a fan art. Fan art is in a way it's easier than concepting something yourself. The thought process is different.
Like, yeah, there's some set rules.
It's like, Goliath is Goliath. You either know it or not. Like, chances are, if you tuned in late, you know who I'm working on.
Right.
You're like, there he is. And that's what's kind of nice about fan art, is every so often you just get to. It's kind of relaxing in a way. Also, I would say if you're looking for things to do, like for your portfolio, fan art's great. Everybody knows the character, and so they know if you execute the character right.
True. You just want to be careful of doing the most, like, you don't want to see 100 different Hulks. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, you do something like.
But there is a line there. It's like, don't do a Hulk. Everyone does a Hulk.
Everyone does a Hulk. Got it. Well, it's like a rite of passage of doing like really big.
Yeah. Right. That's like right whenever you're starting to understand your anatomy, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do a big Hulk boy.
Certainly, there are no other very large, bulky characters to attempt, as I do Goliath.
Okay.
I call it out. So, Matt, I think it's a good time for a check-in.
Oh yeah, it's definitely time to go to sleep for
Yeah,
sure.
you're about to poop.
I am about to just it's defecation.
He's ready to. So take us through it, man. Like, how are you?
Well, I'm really just there we go. I have recently in about 10 seconds
Oh, there
just
you go.
blocked in some garbage here just to get an idea. But you know, again, I've been let's put this pen up. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I've just been looking at these boys here and kind of going off of all of the different variation or all the different elements. I really like how this one has like a pretty distinct
Yeah, that's really cool.
human kind of jaw. And you know, there's some all sorts of negative space and cool gooey stuff in there. That's cool. Same thing, you know, this is the same interpretation right here. We're just having that kind of skeletal aspect, but mixing it with just the big uniform. And seeing all of these muscle groups right here is kind of fun, right? It gives it kind of a creepy, expressive kind of feel.
That's your maliciousness.
Right. And so what I think I'll do is establish some of this like primary form, skeletal, keep some of the softness and the connective tissue, add some of the expressiveness with this kind of, you know, the wrinkling, like almost a human form.
I like that.
Of expression, and then finally finishing it on the tertiary level with some scales. And so I'm gonna try and like basically take, like, if client provided me this reference, that's probably what I would do. Well, I mean, the big thing that I'm missing is this design element in the design board, right?
Oh,
Like
the spiky.
yeah, like top half is monster, and then he's got spike beard, right?
Spike beard.
He's got a good old spike beard, you know. So I've just been working on muscular forms and having a good time, honestly. Like,
Looking really fun, dude.
it's just where we're at. It's a sphere with an eye and some teeth, and we like it.
All right, great stuff. Let me we'll pull up here.
Yeah,
All
do
right.
that.
So this is where I landed by the end of the session here, and areas that I'm still resolving. You know, is the corner of the mouth, which is always a very difficult area to resolve.
Yeah.
But you know, he's coming along. And then once I start throwing shadows in there, then you really start to read the graphic shapes.
Oh yeah.
Reading, you know, it starts reading like Goliath.
Yeah, it looks great, dude. Really does.
And I found there we go. I found my old Goliath, the one from many years ago, and one of my first attempts at him. And my process has changed quite a bit since then. For one, I was using a low-res cage mesh to kind of like work out form. So eventually, like, what I should have done is, you know, taking this guy and getting, you know, cutting him up and dynameshing and all that stuff. But you can see, like, you know, it as an attempt, it's okay. I think the problem here is that I'm mostly holding to the mesh underneath.
Yeah.
So that's the initial problem. But like, my anatomy has changed much more, you know, since then.
Yeah,
You know,
it's actually cool. Like, go to the new one.
Here, we'll do a little side by side.
Yeah, it's cool seeing how the language, it's almost like you had the same idea, but
Yeah.
you just fleshed it out. Like, you know, I mean, like, look at the lips. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way that the whole like lip setup is. That's dude, that's crazy. Yeah.
That's just
great.
experience, you know, over time.
Yeah, for sure.
So repetition is key, but you also got to, you got to eat your vegetables too, and that means doing your studies and learning anatomy and, really honing in on the things that are going to make a good sculpt, which is anatomy, form, character, storytelling, personality. So yeah, it takes time to get good and feel confident, and, all those things. So yeah, and I still feel like I've got a ways to go with them, but that's the journey, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, what you've done 2 hours worth of work.
Yeah,
So
well, we're almost at 3 hours.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, even then, it's still.
Yeah, but
it's not very long.
But that's the process, guys. So you just gotta keep at it. So Matt Millard, that's our time for today.
Let's get out of here, man.
On Creature Corner. So thank you guys for joining us, coming and hanging out on our fan art day. We might continue this in the next week, or we might not. We might do some other stuff. You don't know.
No one knows.
No one knows. It's all wild, baby. It's all wild.
Dude, thanks for coming to hang out, guys. It was good seeing y'all.
So thank you guys for coming to hang out. If you feel like talking to us and asking us questions, whatever, I'm available on Twitter at MonsterMash042. Matt Millard is also on Twitter at itchytasty_, or you can just look for his name, Matt Millard.
There is an itchytasty _ at the very end.
_ at the very end. You gotta spot that. You can also search for our names on Instagram, find us that way. Thank you to our sponsor Lenovo for sponsoring Creature Corner, and of course Noman School of Visual Effects, our home away from home.
Hell yeah.
The mecca of visual effects is what I would call it. So thank you guys. Thank you, Cthulhu. And thank you, everybody. We will see you next time right here on Creature Corner. Good night.
Have a good night, guys.